Before the season even kicks off, soccer fans are already making predictions. Who wins the league? Who qualifies for Europe? And who's lifting the trophy at season's end? On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code CUP26 to get $10 when you trade 10. KALSHI, Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game. 18 plus only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Event contract trading involves risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18 plus.
Late night bites with friends? Already hard to beat. That first too hot bite of fries you couldn't wait for, followed by ice cold Pepsi. Now that hits different. Suddenly, the energy kicks back in, the night goes longer, and the laughs don't stop. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Hello and welcome to this brand new episode and a brand new season for Real Arsenal Talk. So this is our season 2. And Stevie, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome back to everyone who's been listening, who's been with us from the beginning, and we appreciate you. And Stevie, how's it going? How you doing?
Fine, mate, and welcome to everybody that's joined us tonight.
By the way, I've got a quick message from Riverside saying that your laptop may need to be plugged in. But I don't know. I can't see it from here, so I'm just going to trust Riverside for that. But anyway, yes, we are absolutely back, and the Premier League has officially started, and we were the first ones to play. So sometimes that goes against us, but fortunately on this occasion, we came out triumphant and victorious, and you know, you might as well just give us the Premier League title now, to be honest. Let's not waste anyone else's time. And but Stevie, you know, we've had our first match of the brand new season, and before we discuss the match, right, I want to know your feelings going into this match. Like, you know, brand new season, you've seen the players that we have, you've seen the potential squad depth that we have as well. I mean, how did you go into this particular endeavor? Confident against the newly promoted team?
Yeah, obviously confident because it's our first game at home as the champions, and yes, it could have potentially been a banana skin, as you well know. But I did feel that CovEnTry probably wouldn't sit back because it's new to them. You know, Lampard's not that way inclined. He's not a defensive sort of minded player. I don't think he's defensive course. He likes to go for it, and that sort of played in our hands really. And yeah, it was great. It was a nice, confident performance. You know, without actually, you know, we did play well in fits and starts, but it was a confident, solid display really, without, you know, losing sweat. To be fair, I don't think we had much issues at the back, or it was great. It was good.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know, going into the match, like you said, there's always that Brentford 2022 feeling in the back of your mind. You know what I mean? Newly promoted team, you know, they're looking to embarrass us. But I think the mentality has completely changed. Obviously, we've gone into the season as the reigning champion. So I think that sort of pressure that we were worried about before, I don't think we saw any of that once the match started. Whatever feelings that us fans may have had from, you know, what we saw on the pitch was completely just fantastic to watch. And again, we will caveat that with saying, you know, it is only Coventry City, but then you look at the rest of the results and you think, yes, but it could have been a lot worse for us. But luckily, you know, we came, like we said, we came out on top. a couple of things before even the match started, and I know you mentioned this as well in the Community Shield about Martinelli not being in the squad. Now, I know we'll probably discuss a little bit about the transfers a bit later, but because this is sort of affecting the first team and potentially the bench as well, what are we thinking? What are we thinking about Martinelli? Like, it's not looking the best, is it?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, just getting back quickly to the game, I thought, we played. It was a confident performance. It was a performance with regards to, we're champions now, and that kind of monkeys off our back for so long. And even I feel like, hey ho, and I'm not going to be as nervous this season. Yeah, if we retain it, fantastic. If we don't, I'm not asked. Even though I'd love us to retain it or get the Champions League or whatever, but I'm a lot more relaxed, and I feel as though Arteta is. I think a lot of the players seem a lot more relaxed this year, and hopefully that'll put us in good stead for either, better entertaining football in general kind of thing, as opposed to this, like, we've been playing with the handbrake of fear of losing that we have been saying for the last sort of few seasons. But yeah, I thought overall it was a great dominant display. But with regard to the lineups, and obviously 1 year he was on the bench, wasn't he? But no Martinelli and no Jesus. They were both absent from the Community Shield, I believe. Yeah. So with regards to Martinelli, I mean, I know we'll probably talk about like transfers and such at the end of the day, but I kind of think the writing might be on the wall, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what made it even worse was Ian Wright making comments about Martinelli and how he feels how unfairly he's been treated. Now, personally, I watched that interview with Ian Wright, and I don't really agree with him in that regard. No. To be honest, I don't think you could say that. The way that Martinelli's been treated, he's been given a tremendous amount of time since the age of 18, and he's 24 now, I think. Yeah, 24. That's 6 years, man. And Ian Wright even said that obviously Martinelli was never going to be this, like, as the seasons progressed, we saw that he wasn't going to be this, sort of amazing world beater, that type of player. But he's had his chances. He's made some differences for us in the past. A few of the goals, I think it was one against Chelsea and City, where he sort of just ran through and then he chipped Donnarumma, which was last season. Again, he's made differences to us, but to say that he's been treated unfairly by Arsenal, I think it's a bit harsh, to be honest. And maybe that's coming from, or he's being offered or he's being pushed. I don't know how much I buy into that as being pushed, but at the same time, we have to get rid of players. And Jesus and Martinelli, those are the ones that are going to give us some money. Like, Jesus maybe not so much, but Martinelli's definitely going to fetch us some money, like, 40 to 50
Absolutely.
million. I can see that happening, and unfortunately, that's what we need to do. We need to make space for the players that we have. I know at the top of the show we mentioned squad depth, which we'll get into, but there's only so much that you can carry forward without ruining a player, because Martinelli, like we said, he's not an academy graduate like that. He's not 16 or 17 or whatever. He's literally reaching peak age now, where it's like almost make or break. If he stays with us this season, it's going to be make or break for him. By the time January rolls around, we should probably know what's going to happen with Martinelli if he hasn't gone already. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I know it's sort of set off like almost like a bad vibe at the beginning, but then you think, did it really? I don't think it did. So I don't really tend to agree with Ian Wright's comments on that one, which is very rare, but there you go.
Yeah, I like Ian Wright. Obviously, I love Ian Wright, to be fair. I think he's a proper legend. I just think that, should he have said that? Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, don't get me wrong. And I don't think it's been harsh on Martinelli. It's like Trossard. It's not the thing about Trossard. Trossard came in, did a great job for us. Martinelli's had 6 years, like you say, to elevate himself. But he hasn't. His stock's stayed. And last season he scored 1 goal. Is it 1 goal or 6 goals? I can't remember now. Might be Marmouche.
I think it was.
He scored 6.
Martinelli scored 5 in Champions League, I think, and then 1 in the Premier League.
Don't get me wrong. He's a decent sub.
Yeah. Yes.
Is that worth losing 60 million if we can sell him for 60 million to be a decent sub? Probably not. If we could get 60 million plus 20 for Jesus and a bit for Nelson here, there and everywhere, balance the books a bit and then go and get a world-class left wing or whoever we're going to get, because we are going to get someone, then I think you've got to be ruthless in that respect.
You have
personally.
You have to, mate. And I know. We discuss these things, these topics in the group with other Arsenal fans, and sometimes we don't see eye to eye on certain things. But I feel like this is one thing where all of us have sort of went, do you know what? The writing's on the wall, like you said, Stevie. We kind of have to accept it, you know. For me, two players that I wouldn't really accept being sold this transfer window is oNlY and Zubimendi. Like those two for me. Obviously, oNlY speaks for itself. Academy graduate, potential, great prospect, and all that stuff. And Zubimendi was a very, very solid player for us, you know. And as we've mentioned many times before, and you know, unfortunately, by the end of the season, last season, you know, he dropped off a little bit. But again, as we said, you know, new league, new players, new teammates, that type of stuff. So that would have probably left a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth. Like, you know, there's been talks about Yokeres leaving, but we never sort of argue about that, do we? We're like, all right, cool, man. It's just thanks for what you did for us last season.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I've got a few points on that one, but
okay. We'll talk about the match, and then we'll talk about transfers at the end. So, I mean, Rice and Saka starting. I've literally got question marks over that, and I'm like, what's just happened?
Yeah. I mean, when you see the lineup, we know how much Declan Rice wants to play. We know how much Saka wants to play. Look, they're chomping at the bit, and I understand if they're chomping at the bit. If you're the manager, you want to put him in because they're going to give everything and they'll want to win. Zubimendi hasn't really had much pre-season, so I understand why he didn't start. Madueke potentially could have started over Saka, and I think I mentioned in the group chat that it's time that Saka and Rice come off, and you know, luckily they did. Obviously, Arteta saw the decency and thought, you know, let's give him a rest. But the rest of the squad, the rest of the starting 11, I think it's kind of was pretty much nailed on that was what was going to happen, and it was a decent start. Yeah.
Sorry, I was on mute there. Yeah, I agree. I think it was definitely surprising to see Rice and Saka starting because, you know, that's all we've been talking about. All, you know, after the World Cup's finished, we were like, well, shit, how are we going to start the season? Who's going to actually be available for us? And, you know, we went from no Saka, no Rice, no Saliba. But then all of a sudden we've got two of those players back, and obviously Saliba's injured, so we can't.
I think... Sorry to interrupt, Larry. I think that the reason, probably I forgot to mention, the reason probably why Rice started was because of the injury to Guimaraes, you know what I mean? Like, fuck's sake. I mean, it's just like deja vu all over again, isn't it? I mean, what the fuck?
You can't even make that up, can you? Like, you know, first game of the season, what was it, last season we had Marino injured, or when he first joined, and then Calafiori did the same. Yeah. So it was, you know, Timber obviously, you know,
Saliba
a few seasons
last
ago.
Year.
Yep, Saliba as well. So again, there's something about us starting a season with a fully fit squad, which we would, again, that's something that we can work on in the future after we win another league title. But yeah, it was surprising for sure, but I had no troubles, you know, with them being on the pitch. You felt more confident, of course, and that was always the case, wasn't it? That's the whole reason why we really wanted someone to step in for the Rice and the Saka role, who are good enough, you know, so they can give us that confidence. But if you have those two players back, then absolutely brilliant, man. So, but yeah, and oNlY on the bench, which again, I like the fact that he made the bench. You know, it could have been just another Martinelli conversation where it's like, oh, well, he's been left out. Like, what do we think of that? But yeah, the Bruno injury, man, like, again, that was just, it's a point now where we just laugh, don't we? Like, you know, no one was really upset about it. It's like, oh, fuck's sake, it happened again, you know. It's like Home Alone, but 15, you know. It's like, how many times can you leave your kid at home? But so it was, you know, it was a great. The team that we put out was fantastic, very strong, and you know, this was the first time in 22 years that we walked onto the Emirates pitch as champions of the Premier League. And I felt that more, and you can see the players walking on. You know, they were so chill, they were so relaxed. I mean, look at Saka's hair, by the way. Like, you know, the cornrows that he got, the braids, they would look fantastic. It's like,
fuck Saka, he's shit.
I'm sure we'll have 30 plus matches to discuss Saka's ability or inability. But then again, you know, he started and he was fit enough to start. He was lively. He performed well. There was some instances yet again where you think, why did you take it all the way to the wings again when you had the space in the middle? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you could have just made the pass. But I'm sure we're not going to waste the first episode just talking about Saka. So, you know, as overall, brilliant. And with players like Rice being on, it really freed up Calafiori, Miles Lewis-Skelly to make those runs and just absolutely overload the attack. And all of a sudden we have 6 going forward. And then you look back and you think, well, Rice has just dropped in between the centre backs. So that's made it a perfect, sort of 3 at the back, if you will. And that's why we love Rice, because you could put him in any of those positions and he will do a fantastic job. And the fact that I'm guessing that's what Bruno's going to do. I'm guessing that's going to be his role. He's going to be in that sort of DM role, dropping in between the centre backs and potentially spraying passes out, which we know that he can do that. That's never been a question of Bruno's ability. But no, with Declan Rice, I feel like the more we're going to praise him, the more chances of him getting injured. So let's just, he was shit, really, wasn't he? He was terrible. What a fucking waste of space that guy was. but yeah, no, I think I was more impressed with the Calafiori and Lewis-Skelly runs that they were making just constantly. And for me, Calafiori is a different breed, man. I know you don't care much about him, the long-haired liability, as you like to call him, but even you can admit he was brilliant on Friday, like against CovEnTry. He was fantastic. Give me some thoughts on Skelly and Calafiori.
Yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I'll just quickly I'll talk about them in a second. But the Rice Guimaraes thing. I mean, we signed Guimaraes to give Rice a month kind of longer to recuperate after the World Cup, and unfortunately, that's injuries now force Rice straight into the action kind of thing. And I don't think Guimaraes is going to be available till after the international, which probably is nice, to be fair, because if Rice goes to England, potentially gets injured, I'm not sort of tempt fate, but if that did happen, we'd have Bruno back, which will be nice because we've got Lewis-Skelly, we've got Zubimendi, we've got Rice. Them 3 at the moment, fantastic, aren't they? So but don't get me wrong, I want Bruno to play more of an integral part of the season, and I do think he will be fantastic for us. But just want to put that to bed. But yeah, Calafiori, the long-haired liability, yeah, good game, really good game. Obviously set up Havertz for the first goal. Boom. And yeah, I think everyone, to be fair, everyone had a great game. I know we expected everyone to have a great game, and I think we did sort of pass messages throughout the night with regards to who was having a good game, man of the match, etc., etc. And yeah, you're right, Calafiori he had a good game, but he wasn't tested. And going forward, I've always said this, I do like him. I think he's got he's brilliant going forward. Don't get me wrong, he's brilliant. And his link-up play with Skelly and down the left with Zolis, which we'll probably come to, was out, fantastic. Best I've seen us play for a long time. But yeah, it's the opposition again. So caveat, like you say, with the opposition, you've got to take into consideration they're just newly promoted. We're the champions. It's not going to get much easier. No. We're not going to have an easier game, I don't think, at home this season.
I highly doubt it, and yeah, I agree with you. I think yeah, the caveat obviously stands right at the beginning of the pod, but you're right that he wasn't really tested, and especially when it came to defensively. I mean, I'm looking just at some of his stats here: 2 out of 3 duels won, 1 out of 2 aerial duels won, ground duels, tackles won. So again, 100%. But when you look at the numbers 1 and 2, and you think, well, yeah, you weren't really tested, so you had he had all the freedom to go up and down, and obviously just sort of almost dictate or become like a 5th midfielder all of a sudden, so yeah, you're absolutely right. So we're not going to get carried away, of course not, but we're just it's the happiness that we can't really contain right now of the first game of the season. So we got that out the way. First game Friday, no one else played, a bit of pressure on the champions. Like you said, absolutely job done. But yeah, I think those 2 are going to be very, very important for us, whether it's going to be defensively or obviously going forward. And it just seems like Lewis-Skelly is going to be the guy who's going to be used in midfield rather than go back to a left wing back or to a left back. And then obviously Nkapia came on, which the squad depth, by the way, like it's unbelievable. I've made a note here, but we'll come back to it. Early on, we had when was the goal? Because that was the goal came
24th minute.
15th minute, yeah. Havertz's goal came 15th minute. Just before that, there was, I don't know if you remember the corner routine that we had where it sort of like played short and then played out.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought that was brilliant as well. And the way that Solis moves to get that ball into the center and sort of like have a shot, if you will. Again, this guy is all of a sudden, you think, damn, we have absolutely stolen him from Club Brugge, haven't we, really? We've just have them over a barrel, blindfolded. Thank you very much, we'll take this guy off you. And for me, spoiler alert, by the way, for me, he was, without a shadow of a doubt, the man of the match. Odegaard, like you said before in the message, of course, Odegaard, he dictated the midfield. He was a proper captain. He moved everything forward. Brilliant. And he found himself in the box, a couple of shots that he took. But for me, Solis, it's in his first sort of Premier League competitive game. I thought the guy was fantastic. And how many times, starting from now, are we going to compare him to the one and only Alexis Sanchez, by the way? I think this is one of one, right? So by the end of the season, if he carries on like this, it's just going to be like, well, that's just Alexis, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, for me, he was fantastic. And the difference that a good left winger makes, a proactive left winger who looks up, who's smart, is fantastic. I don't even think this was probably one of the only games where we concentrated the majority of our attack on the left-hand side. Calafiori, Skelly, they were on that side. Solis was on that side as well, making runs, making crosses. But yeah, it goes to show that position we've been missing for such a long time.
It was we just getting back to Solis. I think it was obviously before the goal, it was a breath of fresh air watching him. I was watching it thinking, wow, we're actually looking like a proper team. We're creating chaos. He's putting balls in really quick. He's taking players on and getting the ball in, and he's not hanging around. He's not cutting back and then doing it. He's straight in. Do you know what I mean? And that, to me, is what we've been missing. And I hope Arteta doesn't sort of drum that out of him by making him concentrate on possession. Because it's the direction. He's just a little dynamo, isn't he? Like you say, I think I likened him, and maybe you did as well, that he could potentially be as good as Alexis. That would be a lot to do. But give him 10 games, see how because he could fade against Villa next week. He could have one good game in 10, and that's not what we want, and that's the worry. But for a debut in the Premiership, albeit against a weaker opposition, I thought he was fantastic and 100% man of the match. Yeah,
no, I agree, and I think this probably was the perfect match for him as well. I know you said that this was the perfect opening match for Arsenal in general, but I think for Solis as well, this was a perfect match to start with. And I'm just looking at some of his stats here as well. He had 4 shots on goal, 2 on target. He had 8 touches in the opposition box. 8 touches. I can't remember the last time Martinelli did that.
Always looking to shoot as well, wasn't he? That's what was a great thing about him.
Unbelievable. He got the ball. He just cut in on his right foot and then trying to get that shot off. And I'm not as worried about Arteta sort of drilling that out of him, because I think we're past that now. He's won the Premier League now, and he's like, right, okay, guys, you've got your own strengths in how you play, and we're just going to play to those strengths. And I think, again, I feel like it showed with Solis, because he probably, he could have put a Martinelli on. Obviously, I know he wasn't on the bench, but for example, he could have just had Martinelli on the bench and be like, right, okay, you're going to swap out for Solis. But there was no reason to. There was absolutely no reason to. I thought the guy was just fantastic, and not just in the attacking, but in the playmaking as well. Accurate passes into the box, 4 out of 6. Accurate pass in the final third, 16 out of 20. So again, 80%, 100%. These things, they make a hell of a difference. Ball progression, he was top for that, and even defending as well. He was fantastic at defending. So he seems like like you said, like a dynamo and an overall like an all-around player sort of thing. And I think that's what's probably going to be the difference maker, where does he concentrate too much on the defending to run back, or does he just do what he was doing against CovEnTry and just absolutely looking to go forward at any given moment. But yeah, the guy was fantastic, man. And of course, first match, let's just say it out loud again, it is only the first match, so we're not going to get carried away. But he made me think, wow, yes, okay, now
he made us smile again. It was someone, like you say, it was that Alexis type of star. It's too early to judge him on that, but it just made us smile. I thought, we've got someone that's better than what we've had. Yeah. And that's no disrespect to Trossard, but he is. He's quicker than Trossard.
Yeah, absolutely.
A bit more direct. So I'm happy, really happy.
Yeah, and obviously given his age in comparison to Trossard, I know there's not much difference, but obviously when you're looking at football terms, Trossard, I feel like if we'd got Trossard before Brighton, when he was in his younger days sort of thing, I feel like Arteta would have really made him a fantastic player. But at the end of the day, the guy leaves Arsenal with the Premier League trophy, so... Shit, we're happy with that because
did his job as well, hasn't he?
Absolutely did his job. Yeah, of course
contributed massively. So
massively, especially last season.
Well done,
near
Trossard.
the end. So we love Trossard, but yeah, this can be deemed as an upgrade. Of course, there's still plenty to go yet, but yeah, that's he was that good. And 14th minute, Havertz gets his goal. Solis and Calafiori they link up on the left hand side. Callum brings it back to Solis. Solis gets the ball in. Havertz is there. I know you don't like Havertz.
I don't. Well, it was the two play. It was Calafiori to Havertz, wasn't it? And
For
I
you,
don't
your mind must have just gone.
I did, and it was such a sweet, smooth finish, wasn't it? I mean, it was so nonchalant. It was fuck.
That's what Havertz does.
It was confidence, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he's
a nonchalant player. That's what he does. And
he is, and that's sometimes is what I hate about him.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
He has to strike up the right balance for him to be like, sort of like you said, rated where he needs to be rated. But when he does stuff like that and he finds himself in those positions, which he always did, by the way, even before his injury, that's where he always found himself. But now he's got people who are going to give him the ball, who are going to provide him service. You got Saka on the right, you got Solis on the left, and you got, like we said, Calafiori, Skelly, Odegaard. Rice can make a pass. Rice was hovering in and around the box as well, wasn't he? Like when everyone else was in the box, Rice was just chilling outside. And you think, that's the best person I want the ball to go to. You know, if he needs to shoot from the outside, that's the best person. So a lot of these players, they complement each other in tremendous ways, where they just provide the freedom for each other to like go and do what they need to do best. But yeah, so Havertz, 15th minute, 1-0.
Levikas missed out, Calafiori, and Havertz strikes it home. And the champions are on their way. How smooth was that?
And then after that, it was, I genuinely felt after that, I was like, right, how many are we going to get here? I don't mind embarrassing CovEnTry on the first match of the season, because it sort of shows for the rest of the teams, it's like, oh, okay, look, I know Arsenal are champions, but they're not letting off. Do you know what I mean? Foot is still on the gas firmly, and I think we switched gears to 4th now, haven't we? And then all of a sudden we'll find ourselves in the 6th at some point, hopefully. But yeah, Havertz, goal, 1-0, and brilliant. But I've got here Cala to Havertz. Was it Calafiori who provided the final assist? It was Calafiori, wasn't it? I thought it was Solis for some reason. But yeah,
Calafiori assist. Yeah. Solis to Calafiori.
That's right.
Calafiori to Havertz.
You got the pre-assist, that guy.
Yeah, baby.
But yeah, just fantastic. And then a few minutes later, we're still hammering them. We're still on top. And again, this is usually where we sort of let off a little bit, don't we? Where we go 1-0 and you think, all right, let's take it a little bit easy. That's the pragmatism that Arteta sort of instilled into the players last season. But then you can see the difference this season, where it's like, no, just fucking crack on, mate. Like, there's the goal. Go do what you need to do. And 22nd minute, Saka scores a goal.
Rice eases away from oNlY and spots Odegaard, and Rice again. Declan Rice, Solis, Saka couldn't miss, and Arsenal are firing from the off.
Again, two important players who you expect goals from. Both of them got goals. And again, it was a well worked down the right hand side. Rice to Solis, by the way, yet again.
Solis. It was Solis. It was a Solis assist, wasn't it?
It was. What's he doing over there?
No, it was the left. It was the left, wasn't it? He was on the left wing at the time.
Was it Rice?
It was a left wing cross, and the keeper saved it. He parried it into Saka's hands.
That's right. Yeah, and Saka just had to sort of and honestly, for a second, I thought he missed it. For a second, I was like, oh, fuck's sake.
He just didn't look comfortable even from that far out.
Yeah.
It was like he had to really concentrate to... I mean, I know he had to get between two players, but I was still thinking, is he going to miss it? But he tapped it in, but it looked like he was trying so hard. And he gets off for the week.
He had to sort of rework his feet to find that balance.
Which is take another step.
Yeah. That's it. And this is the problem that we have with Saka, isn't it? Like we've always said, it's like you need to be a bit more decisive with what you're doing. But yeah, at the end of the day, he scored a goal, so it doesn't really freaking matter. But again, Solis, another player that he contributed. Yeah, but this time it was an assist, so brilliant. But for me, another good player for the day, which I know we've had some disagreements on, is Benny Blanco. No,
I am 100% agree with you, and I said it in the group chat. I said Benny Blanco's had a good game, and he did have a good game. But
tremendous.
Look, it's the caveat of saying it. Yeah, anyone can play well against a team that's just been promoted. I know Hull have been promoted, but they were at home, so it's a different sort of kettle of fish. If we were at Coventry, it might have been different. But I'm going to take my hat off to all the players, because everyone had a great game. And yes, Benny Blanco did have a good game, and he was back to his best, I thought. Like when him and Saka and Odegaard used to play in that lovely triangle on the right, I thought it was like kind of rewound 3 years, and that's what they were like, wasn't it? 3 years ago, they were fantastic. And I hope that what continues. I know we've got Timber to come back, but I do think Blanco overlaps better than Timber. I think Timber's the better defender, but I think Blanco, for as much as I thought he's a shit defender, he's all right. He's just a bit slow, but his overlapping is fantastic, and it contributed to the Odegaard goal, didn't it? So yeah, I thought he had a good game.
As an attacking fullback, there's not many that are better than Benny Blanco. Obviously, he's still getting over an injury, and he's still maybe not 100% fit, or where he was like 2-3 years ago. Absolutely. And this was my argument. Like, even in the group when you guys were discussing, maybe we should sell Benny and stuff. And I'm like, you need to give the guy a chance, because he has been brilliant for us, man. He really has. And unfortunately for Timber, yes, he's been brilliant as well. But because obviously the injuries, you kind of take a step back from both players, and you think, okay, maybe a bit of a risk there because of their injury history. But there's no harm in having two fantastic right backs, is there? Like, I don't think there is. But I'm just looking at the Saka goal, and when Rice passes it out to Solis swings it back in. Now there's 4 players in the box, and then Benny Blanco sort of outside the box. If Saka had missed that, Odegaard was right there.
Yes, Odegaard would have passed it. Yes, God.
And I mean, look, if you put enough players into the box like that, you're going to get a goal. You will get a goal. You have a better chance of getting a goal. And just a quick off topic, when I was watching the Man United match, and who was it? Basically, they were just making crosses, but there was no one running into the box until Šeško and Rashford came on later on. But that's the difference. That is the difference, and and this is what we're saying about the freedom that the players have when they run into the box. That they know behind them they've got good enough midfielders / defenders that they don't need to worry. But then when it was a case of Coventry counter-attacking, I don't know if you remember, I think it was like later on, maybe around the 70th or 60th something minute. Basically, they got the ball from their own box, and then all of our players just absolutely launched forward. And I was watching that bit with my wife, and she looked at the TV, she was like, whoa, what the hell are Arsenal doing? Everyone running back. And again, discipline. This is one thing that we can't take away from Arteta. He will absolutely instill discipline into these players, and it showed on Friday. So yeah, that makes it 2-0, and we finished the first half, top. And I wonder what the conversation was in the dressing room. What do you think it was at this point? 2-0, you're Mikel Arteta, players are coming in. What are you saying to them?
2-0, yeah. It's kind of much like, continue, what else can they do? I mean, the 2-0 up at half-time, they're cruising. It's just a matter of concentration. It's when you see him do that, isn't it? It's a concentration thing, because normally the team that's getting beat will come out and they'll make a bit of a fist of it in the second half, as such as the stupid term goes. But we didn't obviously allow them to do that. And was it the 48th minute? I think it was
48th minute.
Yeah. So
Rice, suspicion pass. Odegaard, Saka, White's gone outside of him. It's Ben White. It's Martin Odegaard. It's in. Champions cruising.
And I don't think there'd been much belief from Martin Odegaard that he was going to get a goal.
I think it was a Benny Blanco combination with Rice, wasn't it? I think it was Rice, Blanco, and then Blanco knocks it back to Odegaard, and Odegaard did the rest.
So it was Rice to Odegaard, Odegaard to Saka, Saka to Ben White,
Blanco,
and then White to Odegaard. But again, and he hits the Saka celebration right at the end, doesn't he? He does the Saka celebration thing. Yeah, I love that. I genuinely love that. I love that stuff. But again, another well-worked goal. Like, you know, it wasn't any set pieces. It wasn't any free kicks. It wasn't any cheating. And again, for people who are not watching, I'm using air quotes. It was just pure brilliance of play. And again, from players who you saw how smoothly that goal came about from the right-hand side. I'm not saying the left-hand side struggled or anything like it, but because they are relatively new with each other, they need to understand how the runs happen. But you look at Rice, Odegaard, Saka and Blanco and you think, fuck man, if these guys are just, you know, if they stay fit for the rest of the season, forget about it.
Wouldn't it be so nice if we can replicate that onto the left-hand side and have that kind of triangle formation? It would be just devastating, wouldn't it? If we could just find that right combination. Don't know how you would, but the difference, what players.
The difference on the left is that Calafiori doesn't really tend to overlap. He'll always cut in sort of thing. I mean, he'll cut on the inside and trying to fill up that sort of half space between, you know, centre forward and left wing. I think that's probably going to be the key, where it's going to be a little bit differently worked on the left-hand side rather than the right-hand side. So it's like two different ways of scoring. You know, you've got Benny Blanco who does the overlap and he's fantastic. But then you've got on the left-hand side, you've got someone like a Calafiori who's willing to occupy his space in the centre, but then leaves someone like Solis who's very good with his feet. And, you know, like we said, he's got brains about him and he's not afraid to cross. All he needs to do, take it to the byline, cross it in, as we've seen, you know, for the other two goals. But I think I'm not as worried about the left-hand side now as I would have been if we'd just gone in with Martinelli and whoever X, you know, if Solis wasn't in sort of thing, then it would have been a worry in times. But I think, you know, the fact that Skelly, obviously, you know, like we said, he stepped up, Calafiori's doing his job, and then Solis, it's like, yo, just absolutely brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant to watch. And yeah, that makes it 3-0. Like I said, I loved that Saka celebration that he pulled off right at the end, and it was a nice little chip from little dink from Martin. So yeah, 3-0. I still can't say that we stepped off, because we didn't really step off, but we slowed down a little bit.
I think the changes kind of disrupted the flow, didn't it? I think soon as Rice and Saka came off, and you had Eze, Zubimendi and Madueke, and I think, did he bring a defender on? I can't remember. He bring Marino on, didn't he? Marino. I thought the substitutions didn't help. Maybe there was too many, but I understand giving everyone a rest, the game was kind of won. That was it really. I think that sort of summed up. I think we had a couple of chances after that, but nothing sort of really clinical. There was no sort of one-on-ones as such, so it was a job done, wasn't it? It was just like giving everyone minutes. I think after that, giving Zubimendi obviously a few minutes, Marino a few more minutes, and fucking Plank on the right as well.
So 68th minute, Zubimendi and Madueke come on. I mean, Madueke, he is what he is. He does what he does. You know, we're not going to cry over it, to be honest. We know what to expect from that player, right? Anything good that he does is a surprise. It's more than welcome. But you're right. I think those two changes kind of sort of suggested that, okay, we're going to try and keep it closer to ourselves rather than start making forward runs and, you know, potentially get another goal. Eze comes in, 76 minutes, same as Marino. I like Marino, as you well know by now. And again, he was a bit lively. Did he have a shot when he came on? And I was like, no way, this guy's going to score. If he scores now, I'm literally going to drive up north. I'm going to slap you in the face and be like, what are you doing? But no, he was brilliant. And then obviously Nkapia came on for Calafiori, which is good to see. So, Stevie, apart from last thing I will say on the match, there was one Solis run that he made, him and Odegaard with the late pass, but Solis, he dragged two players with him, two defenders he dragged with him, and for me, that's what sort of cemented him being man of the match, because I was like, Martinelli doesn't command that respect. Trossard he never commanded that respect. Solis, first match, they realised, like, shit, we can't leave this guy open. We can't let him do the run. Especially when Noni came on, it's like, we can't let this guy fucking, do whatever he wants. So we're just going to have to double up on him. Pulled away 2 defenders. Odegaard was there. And I think Odegaard had a shot, but didn't go anywhere. It doesn't matter. Very proactive play from everyone. And there was really nothing else for the match, was there really? We agreed on man of the match, which was Solis, and there was many candidates, by the way. Benny Blanco could have been one, Saka could have been one, Odegaard definitely could have been one, but we felt like Solis is the guy. But people out there listening, let us know who your man of the match was, who your opinion on that was. So, but yeah.
I think that's right. What you said about Solis, obviously he's pulling players away, and I think when we were talking about who we could sign, and yes, we do need an elite. We need elite players, and we're linked with Vinicius, and we're linked with Alvarez, which we'll come to. But sometimes, and my take on it, I think I've explained this in the group chats, that sometimes a different player, regardless of whether they're elite, so. Don't comment yet, but so Mitoma, Rashford, Williams, and whoever on the left wing. Now, because Arsenal have had Martinelli, Trossard, Saka, and whoever, everyone kind of they've worked us out. They know what we're going to do. It's going to go midfield, backwards, sideways, out to the wing, whichever side it is. Teams have sussed us out. Yes, last season we had Yokeres and we had Eze, but I just think that if we had someone different, whether it was a Mitoma, whether it is a Williams, or whether it's a Alvarez, whoever, I just think with Solis, because he's someone different, and that's why I think the beauty about it is, and that's what we'll see in 10 games time, if he gets sussed out, that's my concern. So that's why I think if we went and got Mitoma, if we went and got Rashford, if we went and got Williams, just someone different to the Premiership, because no one will know how to play against them. And while everyone's trying to work out those players, the rest of our players are doing their magic, and that's what I think we should do. And whether the coaches in the Arsenal back room are working on things like that, because I think the psychology of that is most teams who come up against Arsenal, right, this is what they're going to do, so we'll just concentrate on stopping that. Yeah, it is hard to do it for 90 minutes, and we've proven that we had the best defence. But I just think if we can get someone else on that left wing or right wing or in the middle, however, just someone different, Osimhen, whoever, I think that would just elevate us to that next level where the league probably will be ours again. But anyway. Sorry to rant on.
No, you're absolutely right, and I think that leads us nicely to the squad depth, really, and the fact that you just look at the bench and the players that came on, and you think, fucking hell, like these were the players that we praised last season, like to the highest levels, like Nkapia, for example. I know Eze, he was a bit lukewarm, if you will, and I'm kind of hoping that changes, by the way, because I can't really have another season of Eze just being, meh, because that's what he was, really, wasn't he? Apart from those Tottenham matches where he scored, he was meh, and we can agree to that. And but that adds nicely to your argument, where it's like he's a different player. He's a different style of player, because you put him on, for example, and people are like, oh, all right, we'll just leave Eze alone because we know he's not going to do anything. We'll just concentrate on Saka and Rice and Odegaard. But they're forgetting that Eze can score goals. He is technically a very good player, but it just needs that consistent run of form. And obviously last season he had his chances, he had many chances, but I think after that, was it the Aston Villa loss where he got dropped for a few matches? I think that really fucked him up, to be honest, confidence wise, and like we said, psychology, very important in football. Very important. But again, people are quick to dismiss that as, oh, fuck it all, they're getting paid so much. But psychology, mate, they're human beings, right? That's the way that works.
No matter how much money they earn,
it doesn't matter. The more they earn, the more stress that they have to worry about. Whatever. We're not going to make excuses for anyone, really. But the point is that psychology is very, very important for football, and especially at the highest level, because that's the difference maker. You can't really say that let's say, for example, 40 to 50% of the Premier League players, they're going to be on par with each other, like in terms of skill, but psychology will push them to the furthest. Do you know what I mean? So it hopefully that made some sense. But yeah, absolutely. I think when you look at the bench, or like an opposing team, for example, CovEnTry, they look at the starting line and they go, oh, fuck's sake, this is going to be a tough game. And then they look at the bench and they go, oh my God, right, even if we face their second team, there's still a tough bloody game. But CovEnTry could probably take a little bit of comfort knowing that the first match of the season, the hardest, potentially, arguably the hardest match of the season, is out of the way now. It's done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, in terms of squad depth, Yokeres didn't make it on, which is a bit. I mean, does that say much, or is it just because he wasn't needed at that time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we'll at some point. Do you want to just talk about the transfer situation at the end? Or
We'll
talk about.
Yeah, we'll do the transfers right at the end before we clock off.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Yokeres actually not even get 10 minutes. Just to keep him kind of a bit fresh, because there's no need to play Havertz for the full 90 minutes, was there?
No, there wasn't.
Sorry?
No, there wasn't. I agree.
I thought
Totally
whether he came off, but yeah, there was no need. He could have give Yokeres 20 minutes, which I thought he would have brought Havertz, Rice, and Saka off and replaced him with, like what we said. But yeah, a bit concerning. Whether he's just keeping everyone fresh, I don't know, because maybe he's thinking Havertz at home, we're not going to have much defending to do. Whereas Yokeres, where he's like, he's a battering ram.
Yeah.
If we play Villa next week, and we might need someone like that. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. This next week will probably he'll come out and we'll probably understand a bit more whether he's going to Barcelona or whatever. But yeah, but the squad depth, like you say, is fantastic. I mean, we've got Consa now on the bench, and like I think you were saying before about Benny Blanco and Timber. And now we've got obviously Consa in there who can play right back and centre back. So fucking squad depth's amazing. And it's very, very comforting to see how good our defence is. And okay, we might not have the best attacking free-flowing football, but when you've got a defence like what we have, as well as Consa coming in, yeah, he's 28, but so what? He's Premiership proven.
He's peak level.
Freaking had the best. I think he's got the best record out with the duels, one-on-one and things like that. I think he's first in quite a lot of them. So a very, very shrewd signing that. I do like it, but yeah, squad depth's fantastic. The only thing we're weak at probably is left wing.
I think that Consa purchase rate was a massive, massive fuck you to Unai Emery. I think that's what it was, because there was stats going about that Aston Villa lose like 40 or 50% of their matches when Consa's not playing in comparison to when he actually plays. So I think that's a massive fuck you to Unai Emery. And I think tonight's match, who did they play tonight? They lost 4-0. Was it Brighton? Yeah, Brighton absolutely tortured them. 4-0 first half, by the way. Like, that is embarrassing. Embarrassing. And I think that they've spent some money, Villa, have they? Have they spent some money?
They've signed a few players, haven't they? I think they've signed a keeper, and they've signed a defender from Atletico, actually.
Right.
And yeah, I don't think they've replaced, obviously, Tielemans is gone.
Yeah.
Watkins didn't play. They've lost the left back. He went to PSG, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
So yeah, they've lost a few players. I think, Unai Emery, look, as much as we kind of didn't like him, I think he's a bit of a genius in the transfer market, and I do think he gets the best out of players, and I think they'll come good. Remember last season they were bottom of the league after like 10 games or something like that, and they ended up finishing 4th, 5th or something. So yeah, I've got no concerns about them. I just hope that we beat them next week.
Yeah. I'm happy to just keep thinking that it was a massive fuck you to Unai Emery. Like, I'll take it. I'll take it. And again, it just sort of the hate watch this weekend, by the way, the hate watch was peak level, Stevie, which I'm kind of worried, because I don't think we're going to reach those levels of hate watch again, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think, just wrap it up on the squad depth. It was just good to see, you get rid of Rice and Saka that early on. It was 68th minute, so it wasn't that early. But it was good to see them come off, and absolutely, me as a fan, I wasn't frightened. It's like, oh, okay, good. We've got very good players coming on who can do this job. And I think the only players that never really made it on, apart, obviously the keeper never made it on, which, is Kepa our official second keeper now?
Melier wasn't in the squad, was he?
He wasn't, and that's worrying now, because I don't want to see Kepa in our squad ever again.
I don't want to see him number 2, obviously.
I do not want to see him number 3 or number 4, to be honest with you. No. So fuck that guy. But yeah, the only players that didn't really make it on was Martinelli, Dauman and Yokeres. Those were the 3 players that never actually made it on. a bit surprising, to be honest, that Dauman never came on for Saka, in all honesty, you know, but unless obviously Noni's on the shop window and he has to prove
possibly
something. But it doesn't help his case, by the way. It doesn't help Arsenal. Every time he plays, it's like you might as well just drop 10 million from his value, for fuck's sake. And what are we on now? Like, do we owe people money? Should we give them money to take this guy from us? I don't know. But yeah, squad depth brilliant, and like we said, we've got 3 more players to come back who are absolutely first team starters. So yeah, I'm really, really excited especially after what I watched. Again, final time I'm going to say it, caveat, CovEnTry, yes, we know all that stuff, but at the end of the day, they are Premier League. They're a Premier League team now, newly promoted. They've spent money to be where they are, and they've got a former Premier League player as the manager, who, by the way, I'm very scared for, because
as in he's aged really bad.
Well, he's aged really bad for sure, but I'm just saying, like, the way that this is his 4th stint in the Premier League, is that right? Am I thinking that?
Yeah, Chelsea
twice. Did he do Everton as well? Did he have Everton?
Yeah, he might have, you know.
Did he have Everton?
Yeah.
I can't remember. So this is his 4th stint with
West Ham. No,
was it West Ham? Was it Everton? Oh, no, I'm just going to have a quick look now But anyway, my point being that if this is his 4th stint with a 4th stint in the Premier League with a 3rd different team, I just don't know. I don't know how he's going to.
I don't mind Frank. Like I say, he's always good for 3 points for Arsenal. So I don't mind. He seems like a decent bloke, doesn't he?
Kind of, but then, you know, there were some comments that he made last season when he was a pundit and he was talking about Arsenal defence. Oh yeah, well, if they win more than 2 Premier Leagues, then they'll be. It's like, dude, you're still hanging on the past, like, you know, like it's happening now. Just get the fuck over it, right? Saliba and Gabriel, those were the 2 best defenders back then. Whether they've won the Premier League now, so I don't really care what Lampard says. But my point is that I fear for him and his job, to be honest. I can see Frank being sacked by the end of November. There you go, I said it. I'll clip it up, I'll put it out there and see what people think. See. But all right, look, let's move it on finally to some transfers, some transfer rumours. Let's see what's going on out there.
Just quickly go, you think about your transfers. I just want to get back to your mate. I won't dwell on it too much because I don't really want to bring Marino back into it, but this was the ideal time for Mikel to play when we're 3-0 up, and that I'll just say it now because I don't want to see him anywhere near the first team starting 11. Okay? Just putting it out there. Okay, for the beast, Mikel Marino.
Well, you...
He's fucking shite.
I will say this though, and I will agree with you.
It's the start of the season, so let's have a little prediction. So you're I know you're not saying he's fantastic. I'll get that. I understand you're not thinking he's a great player. But what I'm saying is, yes, he's a decent player. When we've got something chasing a goal, so if we're 1-0 down and we need to stick him up front, I admit that. I think he's a great little weapon to have, but I don't want to see him anywhere near the starting 11. That's major.
The only place that I would ever put him in the starting 11 is if Havertz and Yokeres are injured. That's the only time he starts for me. The one place I do not want to see Marino is in the midfield, and especially in an Odegaard role or a Rice role. It's like that's not what you're made for. If it's like, you know, the last 5 minutes of a match or something and he comes on there, fair enough, whatever. We're not going to cry over it. But yeah, in terms of starting 11, no, that guy, the only place that he belongs is at the front. But because we've got Havertz and Yokeres, that's going to be very minimal now. Hopefully, anyway. Touch wood, you know, no one gets injured. Yeah. But yeah, look, Marino, he does what he does, man. It is what he is.
Mr. Soft.
Yeah, Mr. Softy, yeah, beast, Mr. Softy. Right, okay. Some quick transfer roundups before we leave. So 7 hours ago, you've probably seen this as well. Al Hilal interested in £60 million Martinelli. What? Yes, do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, well, look, sell him if we've got a replacement lined up, and if he goes, we've got a replacement. That's all I'm saying on that matter. Whether it's Yildiz, whether it's Alvarez, whether it's Osimhen, whether it's whoever. If Martinelli goes, there's definitely someone else coming in. So that's all I'm excited about at the minute. But, you know, would you be happy with him staying?
Okay. I'll be happy with him staying if there's genuinely no one else that can come in. right? And I'm talking like a good player. If it's some random left winger that we don't know from fucking the Swiss league or some shit, it's like, no, I don't want that. I'd rather keep Martinelli, to be honest. However, if it's 60 million that Al Hilal are offering and Martinelli agrees,
you have to.
It's a crime not to, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a crime not to. But I don't know. I mean, you mentioned Yildiz there, but then you look at what Spalletti was saying. He was like, nah, he's not going anywhere and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, they always say that. They always say that to pander to the fans and stuff. So it could be that, to me, honestly, sounds like a deadline day deal. Yildiz. I think that sounds like a deadline day deal. Yeah. It obviously depends on what happens to Martinelli.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't. Okay, it's a bit bittersweet, isn't it? Because obviously we've seen Martinelli grow up with us, and you know we've seen him play. He's had some very good moments for us in the past.
Yeah, but he's got some great goals.
Yes. And
other players will score great goals.
I think so as well. Yeah, absolutely. And I think if an offer came in for like 30 million or 25 million for Martinelli, then I'd probably be like, nah, there's no point. There's no point selling him at that.
No.
60 million? Yeah, you can't turn your nose up at that at all, by the way, like not even a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on that, and obviously we'll discuss it in detail as the next few weeks go on, next couple of weeks. And obviously for us, the main thing right now, the main transfer saga is Alvarez, isn't it? And
a lot of people have got the opinions on that, haven't they? What do you think personally?
I think I really liked him at Man City, right? And there was times where I really thought, I was like, oh my God, we need someone like Alvarez to come in and rescue us and play for us, you know? And
because he is the epitome of Alexis. He is the most like Alvarez, Alexis, isn't he? In my opinion, he would be the direct replacement. I know we talk about Zolis, but for me, Alvarez would be an Alexis type player.
Which is fair. I think if we get rid of Yokeres to Barcelona, which again, I don't know how true that could be, because the Barcelona were looking at Martinez, weren't they, Lautaro from Inter. So I don't know how true that is. But if we do get rid of Yokeres, then yeah, absolutely, I wouldn't mind Alvarez coming in. Like, you know, it's not like I hate the player or dislike the player. I don't think he's going to contribute to us. No, he will. 100% he will be really good for us. My main issue is that he clearly does not want to move to Arsenal. He doesn't want to be part of our team because of Barcelona. And for me, I think that sort of makes up my decision. You know, it's like, I don't really want a player who's going to be with us for a season and then we sell him to Barcelona later on, you know? I don't want that.
Do you think that, I mean, look, I get this. I get what you and Buck believe, that, you know, fuck him, he doesn't want Arsenal, he wants Barcelona.
I was going to say that's only for the group's sake, by the way. I wouldn't say fuck that guy. No. If he says yes, I'll join Arsenal even for a season, bring him on, of course.
Because, look, Arsenal have signed players in the past, right? So an example would be that twat on the right wing for us, Madueke. Do we know that he wanted Arsenal? Look, he was at Chelsea, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't want him. So why did we go in and buy him for 50-odd million? Who knows, right? He didn't come out and say, I want Arsenal. There's only Yokeres that I know of and Mudryk that came out and ultimately wanted to play for Arsenal. Mm-hmm. Not many. I mean, Havertz probably didn't. Jesus probably didn't. Zinchenko probably didn't. Rice did. Yeah, you know. Yeah. So I understand that people say, oh, look, that guy doesn't want it. But fucking hell, you know, he's one of the best players in the world. And he's probably grown up watching Barcelona. This is my argument on it. If it was me and I played at Man City, I've won the league, I've won the Champions League or whatever, and I've gone to Atletico Madrid, I've seen the Spanish lifestyle and Barcelona, this, that, and the other, or Real Madrid. Yeah, you know, you're going to be like, you're going to be swayed, and you know, your heart's going to be turned if there's talk of you going to one of the biggest clubs in the world, arguably. Mm-hmm. And he's probably thinking, oh, it's a bit of a step down, which it is, in my opinion. It's a step down to go to Arsenal from not from Atletico. It's probably a sideways potentially upward step, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's an upward step, 100% from Atletico to us, 100%.
Yeah, but okay, we've won the Premiership, right? But we finished second, blah blah blah. But Atletico finished second, third. You know what I mean? They're an equivalent to us. Look, don't get me wrong. It's probably an upward step for Alvarez, but it's not
maybe two steps up rather than a full flight.
But what I'm saying is, it's not like if he's thinking to himself, he's 26, he's thinking, I can go to Barcelona. I could stay another year at Atletico, or I'll go to Arsenal for 2 seasons, then go to Barcelona. For me, I'd happily accept that.
2 seasons, right? It's not even an argument.
And get your money back on him.
Yeah, it's not even an argument, by the way. If he said 2 seasons and that was like sort of written, absolutely.
And that's what the conversations could be happening. Yeah. And to me, Alvarez, like you mentioned it earlier at the top of the show about, you said you misses saw everyone tracking back. And I think that's why Arteta likes him, because he has the most recoveries apparently out of all top 4 leagues as a centre forward. So it's that work rate that Arteta's is trying to get. And look, if he's on that phone saying, look, I'll give us 2 seasons, and then if you want to go to Barcelona in 2 years, and that might be the conversation. And hopefully it is, because I've said it from the day one, I want Alvarez.
You have been very, very vocal about that, to be honest. And the thing is, if I remember correctly, even from the beginning, I wasn't too sure on Alvarez, like as in, fantastic player. But it's like, will he make that difference? And to be honest, yes, he will, because I keep thinking back of the Man City matches that I watched him play. He was fantastic, man. And again, I can't be a hypocrite and be like, I don't want him. No, I want him for a long time before he went to Atletico. But obviously, from City, they were never going to sell him to Arsenal anyway, because we were direct rivals when he went. So it's, for me, even if it's a season and it's something that, it's not going to cost us an arm and a leg, but then it's almost guaranteed that Barcelona are going to buy him the season after, just, get it done. And it falls directly into your argument of, new player into the squad. And that's just going to keep people guessing, And that's good enough, and that's good enough for me to bring someone like him in, because again, he has, he's got a name about him. Like, he's not an unknown entity. Everyone knows who Alvarez is, and unfortunately, I'll have to agree that when Barcelona come calling or Real Madrid come calling, we're no one compared to them. And it's harsh, but it's the truth. I don't think any Arsenal fan's going to make that argument, or they can't make that argument anyway, because it'll be just stupid. So, it's a bit of a weird transfer saga. But then I'm reading some comments from the chairman of Atletico, and he's like, I wouldn't sell him to a direct rival, or I wouldn't sell him for less than 170 million. And you think, no.
It's just to appease the fans, isn't it?
I get that. But
we know this.
Okay, let's say we're going for Alvarez, right? Doesn't matter how many seasons, 1, 2 seasons. Let's say 2 seasons for argument's sake. What would you be happy to pay for Alvarez, to be comfortable to pay for Alvarez?
Right, well, it seems we're talking about transfers and such. If Yokeres is involved in a deal, this kind of swap deal, there's muted about, isn't it? Like, whether he's going to Barcelona or whether he's going to be included in a swap deal with Yokeres. Are you happy about that? Or would you quite happily sort of say, look, there's Yokeres and there's 60 million? Or do you want to keep Yokeres because I think Bucks kind of completely thinks he's the shittest centre forward that we've ever had. And I'm 50-50. I think he's contributed massively to us winning the league with just what he does and how he drags players out of position and gives the freedom to the other players. And, people don't see that side of this game. Yes, he's got a touch of a rhino. I don't think he's got a great touch, but he's honestly a battering ram.
He is,
and
man.
Would you be happy with... Because Havertz, as we know, is kind of injury prone. Yokeres isn't.
Yeah.
And Alvarez isn't a target man. Yokeres and Havertz are.
Yeah.
It's getting that balance right. Do you keep Yokeres and have Alvarez and get rid of Havertz? Or do you get rid of Yokeres, who isn't injury prone, and keep Havertz, who is injury prone? Do you know what I mean? So,
now you're asking questions, man. Now those are the real questions that you need to ask. And I'll be honest, right? If the option is there to keep Yokeres and just straight up pay for Julian Alvarez, like let's say 80 million, for example, right? For example, because I know he's going to be worth more than that. I would much rather do that. Of course I would.
Get rid of Jesus, obviously, yeah.
Of course, yeah. I mean, I don't even count Jesus as part of the squad anymore. I know I should, but I don't, because he shouldn't be part of the squad. I think that is obviously best case scenario. You paid the money for Alvarez. You've got Yokeres, Alvarez, and Havertz in your team. What the fuck more do you want? You know what I mean? From that front line, it's just fantastic. Whichever way you play them and whoever you complement them on the wings, just brilliant. If if the only option is where it's like, right, Yokeres plus 50 mil, for example, yeah, I'll probably take it. I'll probably accept that, to be honest. Because you kind of made your money back in a way on Yokeres. People have seen what Yokeres is like in the Premier League, in the toughest league, arguably. So it kind of, in a way, Yokeres kind of exposed himself in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? Because maybe he wasn't, people didn't notice that sort of the bad touch or the slow run when he was in Portugal because he was scoring goals, left, right, and centre, smashing records or whatever. But then maybe when he moved to the Premier League, maybe that's exposed him a little bit. So his value 100% has dropped, by the way. Like, I don't doubt that for 1 second. So yeah, I think, of course, I'd try and keep Yokeres as well as bring Alvarez in. But if it's the only option, that's the only way to do it, where Atleti is like, look, we need a striker. We want Yokeres, and you can have this guy. Yeah, by all means. Yeah, I wouldn't even think twice. And sorry, and I know what Buck is saying in terms of him being a bad footballer. And we've said this before. We said this at the beginning of last season when we saw him. We were like, fuck, I know this guy. What does he do? And then we realized what he was doing. And I think we were the first ones to champion what he was doing. We were like, man, he's dragging players out. But don't forget, at that time when he was doing that, we didn't really have effective wingers. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like, we didn't have the effective players that we needed. So I'd be interested to see Yokeres play with Solis and a fully fit Saka, Odegaard, Rice behind him as well. I'm interested to see that. If he's still doing his dumb shit and he's like doing back passes to fucking... I mean, look, I'm not even going to bring that up because that was just fucking terrible. I'm going to clip this up, by the way, and I'm going to put that in the background because that was just awful. But he is not the best technical footballer, is he? Let's face it. However, you put him in that 6-yard box, just literally spray the ball to him and he will get that goal.
He wins fouls. He wins penalties.
He wins penalties. He will get those goals, even if it's like a daft tap that he does, where we're like, what the fuck is he doing? But he managed to get a goal. No one questions it, right? No one questions it. However, when he does the back pass in the middle of the field or just outside the box, and you think, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, mate. Like, I could do better than that. I know I can. Just give me half an hour. I know I can. I'll die afterwards, but I know I can do better than that. But
bless the Yok.
Bless the Yok. But yeah, that's the way I feel about Yokeres. I wouldn't fight to keep him if it means bringing Alvarez in.
If this scenario, I mean, this is the dream scenario, right? The dream scenario. We sell Jesus, we sell Martinelli, and we sell Yokeres in a swap with Alvarez, and we bring in Osimhen as well.
Man, now you're definitely in fucking Neverland, aren't you? Really, you've been dropped off in Neverland from Disneyland. I don't even know what to say anymore. Don't forget Disneyland. You were in Disney World with that one.
I've joined a fucking alternate reality.
Jesus
I know that.
Christ, you've gone to have you ever seen? Do you remember watching Space Jam?
No,
if you ever watched Space Jam, right, there was the small aliens who had like a theme park off planet. I think that's where you're at the moment, mate. So just
I know.
calm down.
But come on.
I mean, look, that would be
Would that be like a dreamland, wouldn't it? It would
100%, mate. I think, Osimhen, as much as I don't really agree with how much he's going to cost, if you bring him in and you offset him by selling Jesus and Martinelli and potentially a Vieira and a Nelson and stuff like that, it doesn't matter to me. That's my again, we're always going to use the argument.
That's actually probably would be the best squad ever assembled in the Premiership. It's even better than Man City when they had, Aguero, the likes. Their bench was kind of like unbelievable, the best ever, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
I think if we got Osimhen and Alvarez, our bench, our team squad, I don't think they'd be matched.
Would be fantastic. And the thing is, none of these players individually are world beaters, as in they're not like an Mbappe or a Vinicius, so they will work together and they will respect Arteta now because he's won something. He's won the Premier League, and he's trying to retain that as much as he can. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at with our transfer window right now. Okay, just before we leave, then, if we finish the transfer window as it is now, would you be happy with it?
No.
Straight up, no. Okay, fair enough.
No.
Fair enough.
I think we need one of Yildiz, Alvarez, or Osimhen. We need one of them.
Okay.
If we can get two, I'm absolutely made up. But we need at least one. At least. I think everywhere else was stocked. We're fantastic. Everywhere else in the park, defence, keeper, and midfield, fantastic.
Yeah.
But we need one more. And I think if we don't, we ain't winning the title. I think if we sign one more, I think we'll be very, very close to winning it. If we signed no one else, we'll be top 4. That's about as good as we'll get.
I don't know. I think I know, again, obviously we're just basing
Let's
it
do
off
our predictions. Yeah,
we're just basing it off.
We'll do predictions after next week when the transfer window shuts.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you're thinking maybe one more player in the players that you mentioned. Personally, if we close the window with the players that we have, I wouldn't be upset. Like, I wouldn't be, sort of, messaging the group, oh, fucking, I can't believe this, fucking, whatever. I still have enough hope that if the players that we have, they stay fit. Again, of course, we're talking, we're always talking like, caveats and asterisks and all that stuff. If the players stay fit with the current squad that we've got and the squad depth, I think we'll be in for a shout to win the Premier League again. And again, I'm just basing this off from what I watch of United. They were fucking terrible defensively. I don't know if you've seen the clip of Maguire marking Martinelli.
I did, yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. That was just brilliant. That was pure sabotage, by the way. That's what that was. I watched, who was it? I watched Tottenham. They were, oh my God. I've never seen a worse performance from a team that's just spent 300 million in the fucking window, and they've just brought in Savinho and Marmoush as well.
Have they got him?
Well, that's what I've seen so far. Hold on,
I see they've got Savinho, haven't they? I think I think there is talk of Marmoush, but I mean, again, would you add a Marmoush?
Possibly, but not from City. Not from City because of the dodgy dealings that they're doing right now, and I'm not into that, to be honest. And I think obviously you know what's happening, don't you? Like with they've sort of overpaid for Savinho, but they've underpaid for Marmoush, so City can't pay Frankfurt the money. What is it, the sell-on clause? So very, very dodgy stuff going on.
Yeah.
Very dodgy stuff. So no, I wouldn't.
I think they've signed Bouadabi, haven't they?
Boabdi or something like that, wasn't it?
Boabdi,
yeah, they've signed him as well.
I thought that we were interested in him, but they said that anyone who buys him will have to loan him straight back. So, but I don't know whether City again have done another dodgy deal, and how are they getting away with it? All these charges, hey ho.
So that's what
they're never good. By the way, those charges aren't going to come either.
No. I mean, they're up to 188 right now, aren't they, or some shit? Like they've reached 200 now or something. So yeah, it was terrible. And last thing I will say on Tottenham, since we mentioned them, the fact that fucking that young lad Archie Gray was their captain.
Oh yeah,
right. That to me screamed just pure desperation and pure. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing here. Not Archie. I'm talking about De Zerbi. By the way, like I'm scared for him as well.
As much as Tottenham was shit, fucking Brentford. Hats off to them. They were absolutely outstanding. I don't know if you watched it.
Yeah, Keith Andrews. I watched the match of the day and I watched the analysis.
Keith Andrews. I said it last year. People, you might have thought you're laughing at me, but I do rate him as a manager, and he'll get a top job. He will, and as soon as he gets the top, I think he could even get the Man United job. Possibly. So I think Carrick could be on his way.
Oh God. Okay, so we just before we close it off now, then last question I'll ask you is before we do that, is there anything else that you want to add in terms of Arsenal transfers? Anything that we missed?
No, I think we've mentioned obviously the squad depth, which obviously is fantastic at the moment, and we've got 3 starters to come back in: Timber, Guimaraes and Saliba. Them 3 have got to come back in the squad, so we're fully stocked. And all the thing I want to say is that the next time I speak to you and the next time I speak on air, we've signed this fucking player.
Or otherwise Stevie is not going to be part of this podcast anymore.
No, I'm not. That's it. No more pods.
No more pods. That's it. He's given up. He's going to be retired. Okay, so the last question I will ask you from these 3 managers, De Zerbi, Lampard and Carrick, who do you think is going to go first?
Carrick.
Very good. I'll be honest, I'm going to go De Zerbi. Ouch.
They wouldn't give him fucking 300-400 million.
That's the only reason I picked him. That's the only reason I picked him, Stevie, just to laugh at that.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic if they did.
It really would be. Okay, well, obviously, we've got 37 matches left in the Premier League. Chelsea play Fulham tomorrow, so that could be another successful hate watch, hopefully.
Yes. Where's it at?
I think they are at Stamford Bridge, if I'm not mistaken. 1 second, please, because I need. What was the Liverpool score? Do we know?
Oh, lucky bastards, 2-2.
Was
Desmond?
It 2-2? No way. Bastard.
Desmond to do, yeah. They got a penalty in the last second, didn't they? Last second.
because I watched the Elanga goal. I was buzzing of that, and then I just turned it off. But then obviously 1-1, 2-1, and then 99th minute. Oh my God.
Yeah, 6 minutes. So it was 6 minutes of injury time.
Wow.
Then Newcastle made a substitution, and Lewis Hall, as much as I think he's great, he fucked up in the last second. The last second. Shouldn't have been a penalty, but
that's a damn shame, right there. That's what that is. Still good enough. You know, they didn't win, so let's see what happens. And then, like we said, I think tomorrow is Chelsea Fulham, and let me just have a quick look. Where are we here? Chelsea Fulham. Oh, it's a Fulham. Sorry, it's a Fulham. Right. It's a Craven Cottage.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully
they can.
It could be
do us a favour.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, Stevie. If there's nothing else, mate, we will leave it there for tonight. We'll get this podcast out for everyone to listen to for Monday morning, fresh and early. And yeah, you will find all the links to where you can listen to us in the description. And yeah, Stevie, anything else?
Formula One.
Yeah. Should we do a little Formula One thing?
Couple of minutes.
Honestly, I think after Ferrari just being dicks,
Nothing more to say, is it really?
I don't want to say anything more at all. Obviously, as we said in the chat as well, that McLaren are definitely on a resurgence or some shit. Yeah. Well, Norris is at least, because Piastri, he was a bit wobbly to say the least. But that take that he did on Russell right at the beginning was just brilliant. But it fell off a cliff after that. So. I think I know you had a problem with Leclerc.
I did, and obviously I know it's a team sport, but I know it's also it's competitive because no team orders. But I think Hamilton was flying and he caught him up like so quickly, and I understand he shouldn't have moved over, but I think Lewis would have probably done it, but. That's just the gentleman in Lewis, and maybe he shouldn't have, because maybe that cost him third place as well. He should have took George on the penultimate lap. Yeah. But again, he was too wishy-washy, and who would have done that. And I think Charles probably would have took him, but with George, he's a bit of a hothead, he's a bit loose cannon, so you'd never know whether he would have took him out, because he was pissed off anyway.
He was pissed
having to give his place to Martinelli. Yeah. So. Yeah, and then obviously they nearly collided on the last lap, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Charles trying to, why would he do that? I don't know. I think he shouldn't have done that.
I think at this point Charles has reached desperation, hasn't he? That's what he's reached right now, because he knows that this could potentially be either last or second to last season with Ferrari, because he hasn't done anything for the man. And when you actually look at the numbers, as we say all the time, he's got 6 wins. 6 Grand Prix wins since 2019.
10 years.
What?
7 years.
What? Yeah. No, that's not good enough. So yeah, I was really pissed off as well. I'm glad to see Alonso made the top 10. He got a point. They got 2 points.
Lawson was good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even Nico was fucking good as well. I mean, that did you see him?
He did. Yeah, it was great.
Bortoletto, oh my God! And again, what was it? Karan Chandok, he did the slow motion, and then Rosberg was there. He was like, no, play the full clip. Let's see what's going on. But yeah, it was good to see. Apart from the Ferraris, but Lando Norris, I think he's calmed down a little bit more than he has last season. So I don't really have a problem with Lando.
Isn't he?
Yeah, I don't have a big problem with Lando right now. Obviously, depending if he starts winning and then he gets close to the championship fight, then yeah, he's going to be a bit of a twat. But even on the radio as well, didn't he? He sort of felt reluctant to thank the garage. It's like, oh yeah, even the strategy and the guys and tremendous job and blah blah blah. It's like, Lando, brother, just please, okay, don't ruin yourself for me this season, okay? I do not want to hate you, but unfortunately I do. So, but no, it was good to see, and obviously Max,
obviously.
Yeah, Max. I mean, that was just very, very uncharacteristic of Max again, wasn't it? I think, is this the second time we've said that this season?
Yeah,
it is, isn't it? Because he did.
Mine's not right, is it?
Yeah, he did some.
Right.
He's just signed with Red Bull though till 2030 or some shit like that. So it's like, you should be where you need to be, where you wanted to be. So, but yeah, that was very uncharacteristic for Max. And it was funny because the commentators, Harry, was saying, "Oh, look, even Max during the formation lap, he's taking this gingerly," and then all of a sudden he's crashed, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. I thought he was taking it gingerly.
I think the clip I saw, and obviously I text you straight away. When the clip I saw was Max all over the back of Lewis. And then the next minute I saw a crash and I thought, they've collided.
Yeah.
I literally thought they'd collided because you know what he's like, they don't like each other really.
Yeah.
And then the next time you saw Lewis still going along, I thought, fucking hell, who was it? And you know,
it was Max.
It was a really bad crash, wasn't it?
It was, mate. It was, because he just, honestly, I mean, that's a narrow part of track as well, when especially coming off the bend, coming off the bank, because you just sort of bouncing and then bounce to the other side. You can't really control it. But luckily, I mean, yeah, that Red Bull was fucked. Like when you see that from the side view, you think, oh my
it was
God, that
bad.
was fucked. But I'm glad that he walked away from that. But yeah, it's unfortunately it's not going to be Max's season. I don't think he's going to put up any sort of title fight at this point now.
I think if anyone, it'll be Norris won it. Norris will push Martinelli, I think.
I think Russell.
I can't see the Ferraris doing anything, and I can't see Russell.
No, Ferraris I'm very sceptical about, because now Lewis has dropped to 4th and he was 3rd,
isn't he?
He's 4th now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's 4th. Oh, wait.
I thought he was 3rd.
No,
I thought he was behind Russell.
Of course he's 3rd, because I'm just looking at the Dutch GP.
The same points are at 183, aren't they?
That's right, yeah. That's right, mate. But
On to Monza.
Yeah, that should favour Ferrari, but I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, and the strategies are just fucking terrible. Terrible.
The team are absolutely thick as fuck.
Honestly,
they get everything wrong. The shit.
And I don't understand, like, how long does it take, or how long will it take for Ferrari to actually hire someone who's competent? Fucking bring Ross Brawn back.
What they're doing.
You know what I mean? Bring him back. Bring Jean Todt back.
Bring Nicky Lauda back.
Yeah, well, from the God, that's a whole different conversation to bring him back from. Rest in peace, Nicky. Right, we will leave it there, mate, because we've gone on for an hour 20 or whatever it is. And right, we will be back next week as always, and we're trying to keep to a schedule as much as we can in this brand new season. And any comments, any likes, anything like that, please, you know where to find us, you know what to do. We'll catch you in the next one. Until then, stay safe, stay alert. Stevie, send us out, please.
Arrivederci, you bastard. See ya.
Love it.